Hello, my name is Erin Vernon, and I'm a member of the economics faculty at Seattle University, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our major. Starting with what economics is. It's a social science. So it's a science meaning it's objective, just like the physical sciences, where we have a hypothesis and then we test it through statistics and data. Specifically, we study how society allocates resources in light of scarcity. So in other words, we can't have it all as individuals, so we look at why we choose to make the choices we do. Companies cannot do it all in terms of production and hiring, so why do they choose different levels of hiring and production that they do? Those are things we objectively look at from an economic point of view. In addition, policies at all levels, from the nation on down to the local municipal, policies cannot meet the wants of everyone because of scarcity. So how do we best allocate our governments in light of the fact we know we're not going to meet everybody's wants? So it should come as no surprise, given this definition, that a lot of world leaders start their careers with an undergraduate degree in economics. And this is just a small sample of world leaders across the globe that are economic undergrads. In addition, we see in blue, we have a Nobel Peace Prize winner, a Supreme Court justice, well-known philanthropists, and nonprofit sector leaders who all were undergrad economists. The objective way of thinking is also essential for business decisions. So you can see in the yellow, very well-known business leaders also were economics undergrads. The Seattle U economics program has two different major options. The BAE is for those of you that are interested in policy making and perhaps getting a master's or PhD in economics. The BABA, Bachelor's Arts Business Administration, that economics major is for individuals who know they want to work in the business world and right out of undergrad, and also know that the economics degree is highly sought after by many firms. So if you want an economics degree and know you want to work in business, then the BABA is your choice. Both majors have a high placement rate of 98% at Seattle U, and the starting salary for undergraduate economics majors is relatively high at about $59,000. SU econ grads, again, have a skill set that is highly sought after, as I mentioned earlier. Here's an example of a few of the companies that have hired our undergrads in the past couple of years. And here's a sampling of their job titles. Whether for-profit, nonprofit, or somewhere in the policy world, economics provides you a way of analyzing difficult choices. And so you can see the word analyst is a term that comes up a lot in the titles of our undergraduate majors. So of course we talk a lot about business and pricing in our economics courses, but we also talk a lot about current events and social justice. Two examples of many that I could give is the group of professors that are teaching the intermediate economics courses next year are talking this summer of setting aside some time to talk about the proposal to defund the police. So what does that mean pragmatically? There has been a suggestion that you take money out of the police force and fund education programs. So is the empirical evidence there to suggest that that does indeed lower crime rates? And if it does, what specifically do you fund in terms of education programs? Are you paying teachers more? Are you paying for more teachers? Or are you paying for different resources or just reallocating the resources in a different way? So practically and using an objective methodology to analyze that policy and the nuts and bolts of it. We also intentionally talk about income inequality and weave that through a lot of our courses, not only in the United States, but also across the globe, the causes of income inequality and also different policies to address the issues that result of it, including poverty. These are topics discussed in economic courses at Seattle U. So this picture is of Seattle U undergraduate students in a statistics course, in an economic statistics course. Yes, you heard correctly. So one of our professors has an experiential homework assignment where students partner with local farmers and they do pricing analysis of farmer market pricing of produce versus local grocery store and co-op pricing. We have an active student-run economics club. They put on events at least once a quarter. Sometimes they're casual. We have a yearly game night where faculty in the economics department hang out and play games with econ majors. Sometimes the students want to learn more about a particular policy, so a professor that does research in that specific area will give a research symposium. A lot of different events. Again, depends on the students and what their interests are, what those events look like. We have a chapter of the International Economics Honor Society, ODE, which opens the door for students to interact with economists, not only across Seattle and the business world, but also across the nation and world. And it provides some research opportunities as well. We're going to conclude this talk by talking about some quotes some students have given who have recently graduated as econ majors at Seattle U, but have had a year or two to reflect upon their education. One student, Pearl Lee, highlighted the skills she learned, specifically critical thinking, comfort with data sets, working with economic models. And this is something I talked about, is she noted that this gave her a strong foundation for numerous career opportunities. So she is in the business world, and she has found that she brought to the table a group of skills that could be automatically valuable for the companies that she works with. And this has been seen outside of the business world too. So this is a student who, upon graduating as an SU graduate, went on to a Fulbright scholarship and then got his master's at Johns Hopkins, where he is now a data analyst looking at malaria prevention programs. And he highlights how econ across many domains is very much in demand right now. And why that is an economist's thinking process is highly systematic and offers a reality check in implementing programs and policies. So again, economists not only are sought after in the business world, but also in the policy world for really pragmatically looking at different solutions to address real world problems. So you get a pragmatic skill set. On top of that, as I mentioned, the professors at Seattle U are committed to the mission of the school, and we do, as I mentioned, weave in a lot of current events, and we look at that from a social justice lens. And so one student, that was one of her reflections, was related to this. I was pushed and challenged in ways that prepare me not only for a job, but to look at real world problems, homelessness, housing insecurity, access to resources from underserved communities, et cetera, and find actionable solutions. So we do look not only to build a skill set as professors that you practically can use and get hired for, but also to look at how you can make an impact within the community that you will live in. And tied to community, this is a student that received the coveted Truman Scholarship and is now a senior research assistant looking at healthcare policy at a well-known think tank in Washington, D.C., and she touches on the community at SU, where she has made great friends in her econ classes and has mentors and professors that from Seattle U that she's still in touch with to this day. And this is true. We are a relatively tight community. The professors in the econ program come from a very diverse background, but we all share a love of teaching and a passion for the social justice mission of Seattle U. And that is something that when students come back and recognize that and stay in touch with us, that is very special to us and something that we strive for. So we, the Seattle U faculty, invite you to join our vibrant community of scholars that are looking to make a positive change in this world.